Well, let's take a look at drawing by Charles de la Fosse, French. Charles belonged to the court of Louis XIV. He studied painting with Lebrun, but the top of his career, it's when he spent 2 years in Rome and 3 years in Venice. And Paolo Veronese passed quite a few things to him. And this is a drawing by de la Fosse, and it has mannerism characteristics in the beginning of the 16th century, and it reminds us of the drawings of Michelangelo and Raphael and the classical great Italians. So this is a sanguine red chalk drawing, and we can study it in many manners. Now, for our objectives in this demo, I asked myself a question. How did this artist drew this torso with this convincing volume in space, in light and shadow, in this very convincing torso, the planes in space? How did he do it? And in this demo, we are going to solve this question. So let's go right away to the drawing. Let's go to the measure masses and find the measure planes of this drawing. So I find a few lines on the left and the torso and the bottom part of the sacrum, and here going to the trapezius and the lines that define the negative space of the shadow area. You see, I'm studying a drawing. Now I go to the arm and I also mark the outline external, but I go right away and I squint and look at this shape that will be a shadowy area. And you can see that right away, this negative space that I drew, I go now and I determine a few lines of the head here, a grade form in space that will separate, and just a few marks here to register the face. And the drawing's coming up very quickly, and I keep doing the same thing all over the place. And I try to see the shadow areas as forms in space, and I can even darken a few of them right away. So the drawing is growing. This is the arm, and I always look at the light and shadows, and de la Fosse did not put the shadowy areas here, you see, but as I know that there is an upper plane and bottom plane, and now I go from the seventh vertebra all the way to the sacrum and the coccyx at the bottom here, and anatomy lessons are wonderful for this, and the gluteus minimus and gluteus maximus right here, that will be in shadow, and this negative space will be maximum and minimum gluteus. And now I go to the upper frontal part of the leg, and look how I hold the pencil. You see, I find it much easier to hold the pencil like this and not in the way that we write. This is a much better and sensitive way and dynamic way of holding the pencil to make drawings. So let's close this leg here, and you can see that the drawing is in space. Now, okay, most of the areas are selected. Now I can go and squint, and just in order to define what is light and shadow, I go and I put a quick shadow on in a single level of gray. You see, all this area is covered, and we can see that light and darks define clearly where light is coming from. It's coming from the right top, and we covered this efficiently. And this is a first passage of the lights and shadows, and the solids appear in space. The torso looked from the back it's identified a few little marks so that we can put a piece of the ear, the eyes, and and inside the darks we go there and we make the lines darker. So scapula, I always go back to the major spinal cord here, and the drawing progresses. And with 20, 30 minutes, the drawing will get to a level that you appreciate. The lighter areas, the darker areas, behind is the shadows, and the drawing is placed. So this is our demo. For now, introduction to anatomy lessons. Please leave a message and let's talk about drawing. Thanks a lot.